Hey guys, okay, I'm back and I have something very important to let you all know. As you can see, the title says it. Yes, in 2020, if some of you all were familiar with the um, presented information that was given to us through the media. I'm pretty sure CNN was the first to have it. Fox, of course, was going to have it, and all the other medias was actually going to carry the same information. But in 2020, towards the ending of the year, right in the middle of the pandemic, or should I say a little bit before the pandemic, um, but the pandemic has always been here. But Donald Trump signed an executive order that issued that people are able to be hired in the government um, with skills over degrees. So if you have the degrees, then you're for certain going to be one of the ones that will be appointed to a job in the government. And if you don't have a degree, but you have the skills and the qualifications just by the way you present yourself or the way you're able to demonstrate the same characteristics of a person that does have a degree, that is qualified now. And he signed that into the work order, excuse me, into the executive order in 2020. So that's a good thing. That actually gives people a chance to progress in life. It gives them the chance to be able to obtain more abundances because they won't be subjected to a school that's going to allow them to be held down for years of education that can just be taught to them on YouTube or online. Because if you think about it, all the information that you desire for whatever major it is that you're trying to go for, that is actually free. And the old ways of people receiving education has been going to school and paying for college and things like that. But now, because the internet has become so broad and more people are joining the internet and engaging in different activities involving with the internet, people are able to share more information that people would actually charge you for. Now, you can still be charged online for certain information, but there has been way more free information out there that they don't charge you because they want you to be informed about this before you put all of your time and effort into the study, because people have lives to live and they have things to do, and it will help them not waste time when they can just have the information in front of them and given to them for free. And I think this is a very good way for people to exceed in their goals and become more better about the the skills that they have already. If they don't have them, they are able to gain these skills. That's another thing that I like about the internet, but that is a positive, a very good news for people who want to thrive in the industry or want to thrive in whatever field they choose to thrive in. Um, so now, since he has signed that into the executive order, that gives people who are talented artists and don't have the money for college, they're able to put that application in to their favorite um, um, store that carries art. Maybe they can sell their own art because they're an artist. Put in your application there. Maybe you're really good at public speaking. Send your application to your local news station and tell them that you want to be a reporter. He has signed that act into law so that people are able to fulfill their biggest dreams now. So YouTube has already established that, because of course you don't need um, a college degree to make a YouTube account and share with the public your skills and your qualifications without them testing you to see if you qualify enough to be doing something that is um, well done by you. So YouTube has developed another way for people to open up their possibilities and explain and express themselves in ways that they wouldn't have ever been able to do so if they were to just go to school, because certain things were blocking them, like you need to finish your elective courses before you do your major, and that was not even in your plan, and that's not a major skill for you. Your major skill is whatever major you wanted to reside in, and that is a great thing. That is fantastic. Now people won't be able to feel entitled to a long-term education that can waste a lot of time, when you can learn this stuff in under a month, or probably less than that. It doesn't take long for someone um, to look at information that is qualified as the right answer and study it and remember that inside of their head in order for them to be well at doing something, because some people are really good listeners. And a lot of times, if you realize that some people would go to school and they realize, they say, wow, I can't believe I spent 12 years of school and all I really know how to do is speak English and add, multiply, subtract, and divide. I know how to read and I know how to write. I know how to look up information if I don't understand it. I know a little bit about history, but not that much. I know a little bit about, and things like that. And they go for the rest of their lives with the same abilities of thinking and a processed mind that is capable of doing natural things. And it's nothing um, really um, too obvious, because you think just the same as everyone else. So you say, well, how was 12 years invested good enough and I'm still working a 9 to 5 job? That is where the skills over degrees come in, because you may be able to save yourself and make a lot more money by having the skills and the talents. And because you have that already, you can now invest that into a hands-on experience and actually going into work and allowing people to see and relate to your own characteristics, your own ability to work and to to share the same type of relatable um, things that is similar to the job that you're applying for, that you're working for, that you want to work for. So now, because you didn't go to school to become a professor, or you didn't go to school to become a lawyer, or you didn't go to school to become a whatever, they seen that you had these qualifications, and they seen that you were determined to continue that process over and over and grow within that. And some people are given a chance because they have more of the qualifications and characteristics of an occupation that they work for, more than a person who is actually hired in that field to do that. And some people just go past you and they walk by and they might say, a stranger, and they might say, you look like you can be a professor somewhere. You can teach this class. Have you ever been to school? They say, no, I haven't, but I know all the information. I'm like, wow, that's just a waste of your personality, and your godlike and divine image is very influential, and people are really in love with things like that. But it's really funny because, you might get someone who is paid to do that, and they aren't in as influential as they could be, for other people to really really relate to them. And the person that is more relatable is the person who has never been to school before. Now, this does not mean that the degrees aren't worth anything. Your degrees are worth something, just know that, okay? um, but many people go to school and get the degrees for their desired major in the field that they want to work for, and they come out of college and they don't want to even go back to work. They don't want to work anymore because they're so burnt out and they want to do something else totally different. So it's almost like we are very intelligent beings, and we're able to learn something very fast and be well at doing what we're doing because we already have the qualifications before we even started to study it. And some of us had started to study it for the first time and became very great at doing it because they have that energy. And college can drain your energy because you're juggling real life situations, and you're also juggling college and the way that they want you to live and study, and then you have to, go to work and provide for your family and take care of yourself, and that's a lot. But what about finding not a harder way to become successful? What about finding an easier way to become successful? Because some people believe that, you need hard work, and your hard work is going to be already within you, and the time that you put into it, the focus. You don't need anything extremely hard that you have to balance out all of these things, and you don't know what type of environment you're in, and you don't know what type of environment this person is in, or what type of family they have, because that person who has the skills or the qualifications or the desire to major in something or to work in a field that is required to have the qualifications, you may not know that that person may not have family support to pay for college like money, or the ability to go to work and just be drained, be tired, and trying to keep up with the grades and study and work and trying to balance everything like that, versus the family who has family support, who has money to pay for college and everything, better than this other family. So it's the work skills over degrees. When President Donald Trump signed that into the executive order, it made things a lot more better, because now whatever skill that you have, you don't have to go to school for it, really. You can just, if you have the qualifications and you know yet that you do, and the people that are in the process of hiring another person can look at you and see that you do show the characteristics, then I wouldn't see why not that shouldn't happen. Exactly. Actually, I don't think anyone should. Now, I did run across a lady who told me that she didn't feel like that would be a great idea because she believed in an old structural system that you needed to have years of education and training in order to get to where you need. And it's similar to, like, if she was taught, because she was in her, I believe, in her 70s or maybe in her 60s. So she was already immune to the old system, and we are now coming up out of the old system, and many of us is already out of the old system. And she believed in the old structured system, that you needed to be in school for many years in order to learn how to do something that is required of you. But many people have woken up and realized that you have the skills right now, if you know you do, and especially if someone else can see the skills that you have before you recognize your own. It's almost like some people are very good at singing, but they work at a fast food restaurant. But they could be a singer because they sing really well. So why not take that opportunity if a person came to you who was in the process of signing people a big check that was going to enable them to be rich and wealthy and famous for the rest of their life, and start a whole new life, and live a happier life, other than, continue to give that up and go to school for singing. And they wasted so much time, and then by the time they got finished graduating, they're a lot older, and they may have kids and may not have a passion for singing anymore. So that's a really big deal breaker and a miracle for people to experience by Donald Trump actually signing that executive order into an actual thing, because that's like the best that is the best blessing in the world for anyone to experience. I wish that was here years ago, because I also applied to my local news station to become a reporter, to become a news anchor. And, I had the qualifications within the way that I speak, I had the qualifications within the way that I presented myself, and I just had the desire. And not many people have the desire for that and apply for the job, or, not many people have the desire to do certain things, and whatever is not meant for one person, it could be meant for the next person. So, it was, my application was accepted, but I did not get the job because of the amount of school years that they needed for um, the requirements, of the actual position that I was applying for. I needed 8 years here or 4 years here, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I have the passion and the drive within me, or I shouldn't use the word drive. I have the passion and the excitement within me to proceed with this type of occupation because it's allowing me to get hands-on training over top of the training that I've trained myself with, and the naturalness within me could have been an impact within my whole experience. So I really appreciate Donald Trump for doing that, because if it wasn't for him, you know, God knows how long it would have been if we would have waited for someone else to come up with a work skills over degrees executive order. Who knows how long we would have had taken in order for us to get that privilege. I really, really love that idea, and I really feel like the world is going to be changed a lot more now, because there are many people out there with skills and the requirements without going to college about a major or a field that they want to proceed in working with. And it is not wasting any time, and it's allowing people to feed their families because they're able to get paid quicker than going to a college. They're able to um, obtain a healthy lifestyle because they now have the money to pay for something that they desire, because of the pay rate that they are given for the desired field that they're wanting to work for. Um, they're also given the opportunity to escape any environment that they want in a work field that is not something that they really desire to be working in. And it does a lot with people's mental stage by increasing a healthier mind, because people aren't worrying anymore. People aren't, fearful of them putting more time into something that is draining to them, or sharing all the good ideas to a field that is being taken from them, and they can be sharing those good ideas and skills to something that is going to desire it. And not that the other places that they put their skills in didn't desire it, but it would be their skills and their knowledge and their talent would be given and invested into the right field. Therefore, they can fully benefit from it. Because a lot of people would say, well, why are you working in construction, and why are you doing landfill, or why are you working in retail, or why are you working, here and there? And I'm like, well, I just really needed a job, but I wanted to go to college, and I did go to college. I just didn't pass one of my elective courses, and that was hindering me from continuing because they didn't care about the major. If my major wanted to be in communications, they cared about more about me passing level 3 math, the level 4 math, the level 5 math. I passed 1, 2, 3. Oh, level 4, you got to pass level 4 or to get up to level 5 and 6 and 7. I'm like, are you serious? I said, what about all the work that I've done in high school to get my high school diploma, and now I'm in college. Even got a scholarship for college. So it was almost like you would think that they would push me forward to be in my major, but they wanted you to do electives, and that is kind of like holding you back from proceeding your fullest potential, because your fullest potential is the energy that you have within you about a desired task. And once that is gone, what can you do but try your hardest to get it back? That's if you're not already thinking about something else. You may be thinking about something else totally different now. And this is why people go to college and come out and they either can't find a job, and you're like, well, how can't you find a job if you have a degree? Well, I just don't have a passion for it anymore. People have degrees and end up becoming homeless because they're so burnt out. They're drained. And it drains their energy. And that is the old way of the system having control over people's lifestyle, because people gain their fullest potential at a very young age. Like Michael Jackson didn't have to go to school for becoming a very great artist. He developed that with hands-on experience, and then he became a master when he got older. And if he would have went to school for that, who knows if Michael would have been the Michael that we know. Alicia Keys actually went to school, and but she went when she was very, very young. She was a straight A student. She was in all honors classes, and she was able to graduate at an early age, thank God, because they knew the skills that she had. She didn't have to keep going to school and relearning and studying and do a whole bunch of extra things. And, she was so smart that she was actually able to, beat everything just like that. She was so intelligent and so smart and gifted. And some people are, but they're not very, driven. They're not driven. That's not the word to use. We're not in the car. They're not um, passionate for math or certain subjects as the system wants you to be passionate for. Okay, the system should be designed to help you become your fullest self instead of what they feel it would take in order for you to get to that level, because you know yourself more than anyone else. It's almost like the school wants you to pay this money and pay them a loan back and everything else, and learn everything that doesn't have anything to do with your interest, and that will take your focus away from the actual focus of what you want to be focused on. They want you to be focused on that part, but what about the fact that those parts was not in your plan? And people are successful by making plans and proceeding them. But when something comes out of the plan, it either slows a person down, stops them, or it just makes it difficult for them to proceed, because now they have to remember the plans that someone else has thrown upon them and their own. And if anyone else's, if they have any family, and things like that can cause someone to become less motivated in the future because they have drained their energy. And a person's energy can be drained if they are not excited enough to do what they love to do. And that excitement can boost a person's self-esteem. Then they will become more motivated to work in the field that they desire, or to study the field that they desire to study in, or study for. So I think that is something that people should really take a great concern about, because the work skills over degrees is a wonderful thing. I believe it is a miracle that Donald Trump signed that. So it's like people today are still going to school, and there are people today still trying to figure out how they're going to, get that college degree when he's already signed it. So now it's your time to go to whatever field that you want to desire yourself working in. Go to that facility, go to that business, or go to that business website, and give them your resume, apply, call the manager, the hiring manager, and ask to speak with someone, and tell them, hey, I'm not sure you're familiar or not, because I believe that certain people who are actually at work, who are hiring managers, have no idea that Donald Trump signed the executive order based on working skills over degrees. I'm pretty sure some people haven't even thought about that. And I took advantage of that when I seen that on the news, and I said, this is absolutely beautiful, thank you. And I said, I wonder how many people are actually going to accept a person with the desire, the talent, and the skills to take the lead and work somewhere, without a person saying, no, you need to go to college, you need a degree to do this. And what if some people might just want to hold on to the old ways of the structured system in order to have them capable enough to be required to fulfill a job that they feel that you need the requirements from an education based on years of schooling, when you actually have years of schooling within you. You can actually minimize the amount of school time within the focus that you put into whatever you're studying. So if you go into school to become a, I say this all the time, but if you go into school to become a technician, and it takes less than 6 months, or you can learn everything in 6 months within a week, then why not take that advantage, because it will be an advantage, you know. Either you're doing it correctly or you're not. It doesn't mean that, if you learned it in less than a month, that whatever you practiced, it didn't, you didn't make any mistakes and you didn't, do it well. It didn't mean you didn't do it well. It just means that, it didn't take you 6 months to learn how to do it well. Hands-on experience can do a lot more influence on a person than to read about it and take a test and take a quiz and do multiple choice questions and fill in the blanks or word search to see if you really, really understand it, when the answers are the only thing that matters. If you just give people the answers, then they can study the answers and be successful. If you keep on asking people, if you keep giving people other things around the answer and then the answer, and then having them figure out where the information is, which part of information is true or which part of information is worth studying, then people are going to be more um um people are going to be more um noticeable about their wasting more time about doing certain things. And like, for instance, the driver's ed. A lot of people, some people don't pass the driver's ed course um, when it comes to taking a test, because they are given a book and they told them to study a book, and the book has a lot of information in it. And whenever it's time for someone to take a test, they have information that was presented to them, that were given to them by multiple choice, and they had to, figure out which one was the correct answer, which question had the correct answer. And it was really, really tricky for some people, because they said, I studied for this question, I thought this was going to be the question on the test, but it wasn't. So if I would have studied that, I would have spent more time focusing on studying the answers. So by the time it was time for me to take the test, I know the answers. You know, it is not cheating, it's studying the answers, because they want you to know the answers. So if anything else would be common sense, if you want to read about how to get around certain things, or why this is the answer. Once you figure out why this is the answer, then you go back and look at where the answer is in the section, and you read around it, and you will figure out why that's the answer. But a lot of people don't pass the DMV test, the computer test, because now the driven is different. But a lot of people don't pass, and sometimes, they don't pass that either. But a lot of times people don't pass the written test on the computer because they focused more on studying information that was not going to be on there. If they studied the information that was going to be on there, then the chances for them succeeding in knowing the right answers, which is more important for you to know anyway, because they're giving it to you instead of all of the other things that you've studied for, you know, um, it would be a lot more effective in the righteous way, because a lot of people waste time studying things that it's not going to matter, because that's just going to come if they feel like it's going to be important, or if they desire it. And if they feel like it's not important and it's presented to them in real life, well, then they will learn something new, but it's more easier for them to learn it that way because they never had a desire for it. So it's just like schoolwork. It's the same thing as a DMV test and studying for something. It's a lot of times where people have taken a test in college or in high school or in grade school or in middle school, and some of the answers or the questions on the test wasn't even presented in class. It wasn't even taught, but they wanted people to, use their best knowledge and determine what they think the answer should be. But what about what we know the answer should be? Some of the questions that they asked you on certain tests, you say, well, my instructor never talked about that. That's not fair if I would have to stay back another grade or an entire semester for something that my instructor haven't even taught me how to do. So I'm thankful for Donald Trump work skills over degrees. When he signed that executive order into act, I was so thankful. I was so happy. So now anyone, and that was actually for government. For government, if you want to work in the government, you're able to do so. And pretty much everything's based on the government, so I wouldn't see why any other occupation would not allow someone who has the skills to do so, because you are helping the world move better, and more work would be done because you have more people who are not waiting for a school or qualifications based on a piece of paper that's saying they've been in school for 8 years, when 8 years ago they needed you to work and they needed your energy 8 years ago, but they didn't have it. And now 8 years is gone now, and the company is underground because they didn't have the workers to continue with the the process of keeping the business up and running. And that's how you can fall. So that is actually a miracle to save a lot of businesses. A lot of businesses. Take care. See you guys later.